In a seminal, unprecedented moment in South African politics, General Mkhwanazi addressed the nation in a speech today that left citizens in shock and reportedly moved the president, Sir Ramaphosa, to tears. Already described as one of the most powerful, forthright, and honorable speeches of recent times, the address was given to an audience of senior officials, civil servants, and military veterans. Those in attendance said the air was thick with tension and anticipation as the decorated general spoke with a mix of gravitas, moral conviction, and fearless truth-telling rarely seen in public life. From the outset, General Mkhwanazi sounded a note of solemn reflection. Opening his remarks, he spoke to his decades of service to the nation, recalling the sacrifices of ordinary South Africans and those in uniform who had put their lives on the line in service of the country's fragile democracy. "I have given my life to this nation," he said, his voice even but tired. "I have fought for justice, for order, for truth. And today I speak not as a soldier but as a citizen who can no longer remain silent." His words carried the weight of both experience and heartbreak, and as he spoke, the room reportedly fell silent, each sentence landing like a heavy stone on the conscience of those in power. It did not take long for the reflective tone of the speech to turn confrontational. The general began to speak to the current state of politics, setting his sights on what he termed an alarming decline in ethical leadership and accountability. According to observers, this was where President Ramaphosa's body language showed he was ill at ease. General Mkhwanazi did not hold back as he condemned corruption, political secrecy, and the moral decay of government institutions. He criticized leaders who had forgotten the people who placed them in power, warning that decisions made behind closed doors were endangering the very foundation of the nation. The general made pointed references to recent high-profile investigations and scandals that have rocked South Africa in recent months, hinting at malfeasance among political elites without naming anybody directly. According to several people present, one of the most powerful moments of the speech came when he declared, "We cannot continue to feign normalcy while our people suffer. The decisions made in rooms away from the eyes of the public have repercussions that touch every life in this country. Those entrusted with power must answer to the people. No exceptions, no excuses." It was at this point, according to witnesses, that President Ramaphosa visibly became overcome with emotion, seated as he was in the front row. Many people close to the event described how the president's hands shook as he wiped the tears away, a profoundly human reaction seldom seen in public. Analysts say the tears that flowed from Ramaphosa were a mirror of not only personal emotion but also the deep level of moral and political reckoning that Mkhwanazi's words had provoked. The sight of a head of state being visibly so shaken underlined emphatically the gravity of the message being delivered. The general then launched into what many described as the most stunning and brave part of his address. He called into question the integrity of key decision-makers and hinted at cover-ups that until now had gone unchallenged. "When truth is silenced and accountability ignored," he said, "the nation suffers. It is our sacred duty to speak even when it is dangerous, even when it shakes the pillars of power." His tone was measured but fierce, and the audience sat frozen, aware that these were words that could reshape the political landscape. As General Mkhwanazi continued, he outlined a litany of failures: corruption, mismanagement of resources, and erosion of public trust that have plagued South Africa's leadership in recent years. "We cannot continue to bow our heads in fear of reprisal," he said, now his voice rising with conviction. "If we do not act now, we betray everything for which we and our forefathers have fought." His message wasn't an indictment but a call to moral awakening. Political analysts say Mkhwanazi's speech could be the turning point in South Africa's political history. It could embolden others within government and civil society to speak out against corruption and to demand real accountability. "This speech will not fade into the news cycle," said one analyst. "It will echo for months, perhaps even years. It has the potential to inspire reform or expose resistance within the ruling structures." Sources inside the presidency revealed that soon after the address, Ramaphosa's aides immediately went into urgent private discussions, describing the president as deeply affected and introspective. Insiders say the general's words struck a personal chord and made Ramaphosa reflect on the perceived failures of his administration and the mounting frustrations of ordinary South Africans. As the general neared the end of his speech, he moved from censure to a message of hope and redemption. "I speak not to destroy but to awaken," he said. "Not to accuse but to illuminate. The way forward requires bravery, candor, and above all, love of our country. Those who have wandered from these principles must be reminded that power is a privilege, not a right." The final words received a standing ovation from parts of the audience, while others sat in stunned silence, absorbing the weight of what had just transpired. In the immediate hours after the address, social media and news channels were filled with expressions from political commentators who called the moment a defining one for democracy in South Africa. Hashtags like #MkhwanaziSpeaksTruth and #AwakeningSA trended within minutes. Citizens congratulated the general for his bravery to say what many have long felt but feared to express. At last, someone spoke for the people, one user wrote. He said what every honest South African has been thinking. Some expressed concern for the general's safety, saying that his willingness to confront those in power could carry personal risks. Several senior politicians contacted for comment declined to respond or issued cautious statements acknowledging the emotional power of the speech while avoiding direct engagement with its allegations. In contrast, opposition members hailed Mkhwanazi for his integrity, describing his words as a wake-up call to the conscience of the nation. Sources close to President Ramaphosa, however, indicated that the speech has had a lasting effect on the president's emotions and psyche. Insiders said the president went into hours of private reflection after the event, avoiding public functions and postponing meetings. One aide was quoted as saying, "The general's words hit him deeply. It was not anger. It was pain, recognition, and reflection. He knows that the country expects more from him." Analysts say this rare moment of presidential vulnerability might mark a turning point in how he leads the country. If Ramaphosa takes to heart the message from Mkhwanazi, we might actually start to see transparency and reform. But if he lets it blow over, the people will not forget this day. The broader political implications of the speech remain uncertain, but the symbolism of the moment, a revered general confronting power with truth and a president moved to tears before the nation, has already become a defining image in South Africa's political consciousness, signaling for many the start of a new conversation about integrity, accountability, and the moral compass of leadership. As the nation digests the general's words, discussions in parliament, homes, and on social media continue unabated. People want explanations, but more so, they are asking for change. Because of this, several civil society organizations have already started circulating petitions calling for parliamentary hearings in response to what was raised in the speech. For now, General Mkhwanazi's message reverberates loud as a warning and a beacon of hope. It is a reminder that truth, no matter how painful, is the essence of renewal. His boldness has reset the bar on what truthfulness from those in power should be and rebooted the national conversation on what it really means to serve. As one veteran journalist said, in one speech, General Mkhwanazi reminded South Africa of its soul. He spoke with the moral authority of a man who has nothing to gain and everything to lose. And in doing so, he may have changed the course of our history. As the image of a visibly shaken and tearful President Ramaphosa continues to make rounds across media platforms, one thing has become clear: the truth, when spoken with courage, can humble even the highest in office. General Mkhwanazi's words will reverberate within the corridors of power for many years to come, the surest testimony to the enduring power of integrity in an era of disillusionment.